in art history. I'm from upstate New York originally, and I went to Skidmore College for undergrad, and then I did my master's degree focusing on the Northern Renaissance at the Courtauld Institute of Art, which is in London. And then I completed my PhD this past May at Boston University with a focus on the Italian Renaissance. And throughout my studies, I've had the chance to incorporate provenance research into my work as an art historian and into past museum positions. And so now I work here at the Oklahoma City Museum of Art as a Provenance Fellow, the Samuel H. Kress Fellow for Provenance Research. I started in September, so I've been here for a couple of months. So provenance research is the study of the history of the ownership of a work of art, from the time it was created to the time it was acquired by the museum. It's helpful to know the provenance of a work of art, partially just for the historical value. Learning about where a work of art was perhaps displayed tells us about its meaning, its cultural value, the people who owned it over time, how it functioned in different places. It's also important for particular works of art, European works of art in particular, that were in Europe during World War II. We like to try to trace the provenance of those works of art because during the war, the Nazis systematically looted works from across Europe, from private collections and from institutions, bringing it to Germany, to Austria, where some of them were displayed, some were put into storage. And then after the war, a number of these works were found by the Allies, and efforts were made to return them to where they came from and then to their original owners. But this is of course very difficult. Records are lost and destroyed. Objects change hands all the time. And so by doing provenance research, focusing on this area in particular, we like to try to find the history of works during the war to make sure there's nothing problematical there. So there's a number of different avenues of approach you can take when doing provenance research. And at a museum, the best place to start is with the object file. For every work of art that we have in our collection, there's a file that we keep in the registrar's office that contains all of the paperwork and documents that we have about that particular work of art. And so there'll be information in there about how we acquired the piece, whether it was donated to the museum, whether we purchased it, perhaps at auction. If the work has been exhibited elsewhere, there'll be details about that. If it's been published in catalogs or books, we might have photocopies from pages of those books. If it's had an appraisal done, if it's been conserved, all of those records are kept within this file. And so that's always my starting place when doing provenance research. From there, I move on to doing research in libraries, here at the museum, at other libraries, going through auction catalogs, exhibition catalogs, biographies on the artist. That's always a strong resource. You can also do archival research, and there's the work of art itself to look at. Works often have labels on the back, which will tell where it's been exhibited, even who owned it, maybe information about customs as it's traveled across borders. Works on paper might have the collector's mark on it, or even looking at the watermark, that can tell us about when a piece of art was created or who owned it. So the physical object itself is an important place to look at for clues. So I'm started with a list of 20 works in our collection, and I've been working my way through that list. It's a mixture of works from different countries, from different time periods, sculptures, drawing, paintings, and as I work my way through that group, then I'll move on to the next batch of works.